Here's an easy, simple breathwork method that you can use throughout the day to bring you a deep sense of harmony and peace to your life. I have another video on why exactly this method works, but try it out, trust me, and you'll feel the difference. First, know that the absolute easiest way to relax your nervous system is just deep, slow breathing. But this method that I'm about to show you is going to speed up that process a little bit. First, know that standing is actually better for breath work in most cases because it allows for better breath or breathing mechanics. First, we start with the inhale, of course, as you probably would have guessed. It's going to be through the nose and into your root, not just your belly, not just belly breathing, but into your root, as in root chakra in yoga, as you're probably familiar with, or the lower dantian in qigong. So breathing into the root through the nose, nice and deep, then a double inhale at the top. And then what's called resistance breathing, which is basically just like breathing out through a straw. What resistance breathing does is extend the exhale for a pretty long time. And that is really important because extending the exhale is the primary way you can activate your vagus nerve, which is basically, it's gonna calm your entire nervous system really, really deeply. So resistance breathing, extend the exhale. And allow the pelvis to tuck. And that is important because that is going to, for a couple reasons, better for breathing mechanics, going to turn this into a nice column between your diaphragm and your pelvic floor. And that allows for a full, deep, complete exhale, which you can kind of see the pelvis tucks on its own. Then we do an exhale, hold the exhale until you feel a tolerable hunger for air. Inhale again, double inhale, resistance breathing, and repeat. Extend the exhale, get the body involved, nice and luxurious, as Dan Brule would recommend or suggest. Deplete the exhale, hold it until you feel a tolerable hunger for air. Inhale again, double inhale, and repeat. Now, if you do this for just a couple minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, you'll start to feel a few signs to let you know that it's working. One is your body will start to feel like jelly in the best way possible. Second is that you will start to salivate. And lastly, your cheeks might become warm. These are all signs that your nervous system is being deeply relaxed and it's working. If you do this regularly for 5 to 10 minutes a day, most days, you'll really start to experience a deep sense of harmony and peace in your life. You can just use your phone, the timer on your phone, set it for 5 or 10 minutes, and do your daily or semi-daily breathwork practice through a timer on your phone. And I almost guarantee you that you will really start to look forward to that regular practice. It won't feel tedious to you because it feels so beneficial, it feels so good, and it brings a lot of peace to your life. You can also check out some of my other YouTube videos that I made, which include some singing bowl, sound healing, and nature immersion, nature sounds, that sort of thing, as a complement to your breathwork meditation or yoga practice, kind of as a background to bring a little bit more of a sense of the sacred to your practice. Now, a couple things that you can do to add to the end of your breathwork practice to add a little bit more of a sense of the sacred to the practice, make it more beautiful, I think, is a couple things here. One is, once you're done with your breathwork, last exhale, hold your hand over your heart and cultivate appreciation and gratitude for being itself, awareness itself, which is beyond time and space and without limits. There is some cool science here from the HeartMath Institute on why holding your hand over your heart specifically and cultivating appreciation and gratitude is actually incredibly beneficial for your heart rate variability, or HRV, which is a major marker or metric of your general health and stress in your life. If you have a lower HRV, that's not super great and you're a little stressed out. If you have a higher HRV, that's better, and that means you're less stressed, you're more calm, you're more in harmony, and that's a sign of good health as well, and will prevent chronic disease, it is shown. Another important aspect you can add to this practice is noticing and observing the thoughts that arise in the moment and observe them non-judgmentally. You probably might already be familiar with this practice. It's a very common meditation and mindfulness practice, but it just involves noticing your thoughts from a distance, if you want to call it that, from awareness itself. And you'll start to notice that those thoughts and feelings that arise are impermanent. You don't have to become them anymore. Usually when things arise, when anger arises, resentment arises, jealousy, like whatever the case may be, we get attached to those feelings. We just jump right in there and get absorbed into whatever arises, and we become those things. Like, I am anger now, or I am jealousy, or whatever the case may be. So with this practice, it's amazing because you'll start to notice that you are not your thoughts, you are the awareness behind your thoughts. They're two separate things. The noticing and the observing is your awareness, and you're just watching your thoughts and feelings from a distance, noticing their impermanence and letting them go. So this takes some practice. This is more of a pumping the brakes than a full stop. So be patient with yourself. It'll take some time. But all of this put together with a few minutes of breath work, 5 to 10 minutes, ending with this beautiful sacred centering of the heart after, and then a noticing of the arising of thoughts and feelings during this process, so that we can return back to awareness, which is beyond space and time, which is aka God or the divine or your true nature. That is awareness. So that's the practice. You can practice the breath work just by itself if you want to, throughout the day, any time of the day, coffee break, lunch break, after work, before work, whatever. So you can practice it by its own, on its own, or incorporate the heart gratitude, the heart centering practice, and then the noticing of the thoughts at the end. So you can kind of play with that, but I think that will be transformative and helpful for you to practice on a regular basis. Your nervous system and you will transform and evolve. If you'd like to learn more about the very interesting science of breath work, check out this video. It goes into a really, I think, cool, nerdy deep dive on the science of breath work, how it all works, what it does within your body and mind. And I think that's really interesting, and you might think so too. So enjoy. I hope this is helpful for you. Have a great day. See you later. Prevent chronic disease, it is shown. It is known. As it is written.
Okie dokie. Test here. Test it. I'm talking about easy way to do breath work.
We should be higher. Should be higher. On the mic. Is the mic working? Here is a simple, easy breathwork method to. Here is a simple, easy breathwork. Okay. On why this method works. Right. Any time of the day to bring you a cure. He who